Hi, I'm Shorty, and this video is for all of you Scorpios out there. I'm going to be sharing from the complete book of the Zodiac information about those of you who are Scorpios. And so, if you are a Scorpio, then you were born between October 24th and November 22nd. A Scorpio's mission is to discover the truth and to awaken others to it. Scorpions are thus blessed with sharp minds, sharper instincts, and still sharper tongues. As, however, there can be no truth without understanding and no understanding without compassion, the Scorpio personality itself is not in fact sharp, but endlessly, vulnerably soft. Scorpios are determined and direct. They normally get what they want, or at least what they think they want at the time. The trouble is that at the heart of every Scorpio, there's an insatiable hunger for an impossible dream. Enough is never enough, and you had better get used to this if you want to get along with your Scorpio friend. Happily, the restlessness is the hardest thing to handle in a Scorpio, unless you hate straight talking. Scorpios aren't afraid of taboos. They find it amazing or amusing that people are squeamish about things like sex, death, toilets, and overdrafts. Scorpios know that their honesty can be controversial, which is why they are careful about who they allow to get close to them. This in turn is why Scorpios are sometimes considered unapproachable or secretive. It's also partly why they are accused of having an obsession with sex. Scorpios are passionate, and they throw themselves body and soul into every experience. But it's not just sexual intensity they enjoy. They want the most out of life and their pleasures as seriously as their commitments. This is another reason why they can be guarded company. Scorpios are in awe of their own powerful desires and hate to be criticized for them. You won't win a Scorpio's trust by giving a present. Only time and sincerity will allow you to do that. But you might win a smile if you give your Scorpio friend something which shows you accept and approve of them. Home. Scorpios are very particular about the atmosphere of their homes and cannot tolerate an abrasive abode. Plenty of people have household security systems these days, but only Scorpios will have burglar alarms to protect their burglar alarms. It's easier to get into Fort Knox than to get into your home, yet despite all the triple lock doors, chains, peepholes, and beware of dog signs, you still tend to wonder if you ought to not go the whole hog and put a moat and drawbridge on your property. Some people suspect this not to protect your possessions, but to guard the secret of what you do in the privacy of your own walls. A Scorpio's ideal house number is probably 37C or 101F because they are so hot-blooded. Clothes. Scorpios know how to dress to kill, but they like to wear outfits with a subtle rather than dramatic effect. If all they say about Scorpio is true, where are your split skirts, stiletto heels, and fishnet stockings, or your gold medallions, tight trousers, and open neck shirts? Actually, some Scorpios do sometimes wear a toned down, more elegant version of this attire, but they do so for reasons entirely opposite of the obvious. Not to be seductive, but to hide their natural shyness. Most Scorpios, however, are content to wear deliberately quiet, smart, sober clothes, which let them fade into the background so they can emerge from it at a moment of their own choosing. Cars. Though Ford made a car named after your sign, it's not necessarily the one you want to drive. For one thing, you rarely like to do the obvious. For another, a lover of privacy and mystery, you don't want such a revealing announcement permanently plastered on your rear end. Ideally, indeed, your sleek and stylish vehicle would have a two-way mirror for a windscreen so that you can see out and nobody else can see in. As for how you drive, well, oddly enough, despite your scorpionic reputation for passion and drama in other areas, on the road you tend to be highly reserved as a ticket to Broadway sellout. Food. Generally, Scorpios like food with sharp, distinctive flavors. They tend to prefer savory dishes to sweet and have discriminating palates. The test of a true Scorpion is not their taste in cloves, but their taste in cloves of garlic. If, for example, you like the stuff but think of it as potent, pungent flavoring, you're only slightly scorpionic. To fully optimize your sign, you need to see garlic not as a seasoning but as a vegetable to be eaten, cooked like cabbage, or better still, raw like fruit. Other sure signs of typically scorpionic palate include a liking for sharp, sour, or bitter foods such as horseradish, capers, pickled onions, watercress, radicchino, and rhubarb. Money. Money is a coined liberty, and so it is 10 times dearer to a man who is deprived of freedom. If money is jingling in his pocket, he is half consoled, even though he cannot spend it. The author of these words, the 19th century Russian novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky, was a Scorpio. The words say a lot about your sign's bittersweet relationship with money. You may have a talent for making it, and even more highly developed talent for spending it, but you have long since learned that what it does to you outweighs what it can do for you. Money, or rather worrying about money, robs you of precious peace of mind and distracts you from a deeper, more important issue. It does not necessarily follow that extra cash solves the problem, nor does the answer lie in living the life of a tightwad. You simply need a way of enjoying the freedom it brings while avoiding the trouble. To do this, you do not need to have a trust fund, but a fund of trust in a higher power. Be neither greedy nor careless, but diligent and sensitive, and your finances will always sort themselves out more than adequately. If you ever want to make a little extra money, resolve to bring out the masterpiece you always knew you had within you. The novel, symphony, sculpture, or movie you will produce will ensure a tidy nest egg for your old age, provided you give yourself wholeheartedly to such a project. It may be, however, that for practical reasons you are not free to lock yourself in the attic for necessary time. If these reasons are purely financial, transcend them. If, however, other commitments prevent you from a fully fledged frenzy of artistic indulgence, just do what you can to employ your imagination profitably in more mundane areas of the life. Just a job? Aircraft designer, acupuncturist, claims adjuster, dentist, detective, environmentalist, healer, journalist, lumberjack, pathologist, pest controller, pharmacist, psychiatrist, produce gardener, radiotherapist, researcher, satirist, snake charmer, sex therapist, spy surgeon, tanner, tax specialist, undertaker. 5 ways to cash in. Pretend your cash belongs to someone else and treat it accordingly. Refuse to pay any more bills which are constantly landing on your doormat. Stop allowing money to intimidate you. Take the advice that you're always giving so free to others. Offer your service to the CIA at a price, of course. 5 ways to branch out. Become a TV fitness guru. Pose for pictures in Playboy or Playgirl. Find the lost city of Atlantis. Seduce Tom Cruise. Produce fly-on-the-wall documentaries. Love. Scorpios are not really sex maniacs. They're just very honest and demonstrative about their urges and feelings. It takes a long time before a Scorpio will put his or her trust in another person. But once that trust is given, it soon becomes unshakable loyalty. If you have difficulty with the idea of making your current love last forever, I put it to you that this is mainly because you feel you already have an old love, that the magic and pain is going to last forever, no matter what you try to do about it. Scorpios are, as you only know too well, the most sensitive people in the zodiac. And sensitive people tend to get their hearts broken very early in life. Once broken, sensitive people's hearts never seem to mend fully. Their hearts harden around places where the scars lie, and it becomes very difficult for the owners of these hearts to let anyone, no matter how deserving and potentially wonderful, get near enough to let them run the risk of being hurt again. You may consider yourself to be carrying a torch, or nursing a wound, or perhaps more likely, considering Scorpio's tendency to deny what they don't like to think about, simply feeling rather numb for reasons you don't care to examine further. But whatever it is, it's certainly not very fair to the person you are now with, or would like to be with one day, or even to yourself. One way or the other, you've got to rid yourself of the ghost of your past. Get what happened when you were so much younger out of your system, and give your future a chance it deserves. And if you can do that, bearing in mind all you have learned in the meantime about how to be realistic rather than hopelessly idealistic in love, the chances of your finding a genuine happily ever after are a lot greater than you can imagine. A sideways look at your sign. Some star signs I look forward to writing about, while others are more difficult, but there's one that I dread and will do anything to avoid. Not that there's anything wrong with Scorpios, you understand. It's just that everyone already thinks that they know all there is to be said about people born under the sign, and most of it isn't good. Explaining the truth, even to a Scorpio, is a major battle. I suppose I should get to the point, but I warn you the following contains explicit reference to matters of sexual nature. If you find such frankness offensive, please don't continue to listen. Scorpios are hot-blooded, sensual people with an endless appetite for physical pleasure. They cannot keep their passions under control and are forever surging with primal lust, which must be fulfilled no matter what the cost. They're jealous, mean, broody characters who never trust anyone. Woe unto you if you ever poke fun at a Scorpio. Scorpios bear a grudge with deep malice, plotting revenge and scheming your downfall. Most mass murderers are Scorpios. So are most child beaters, torturers, prostitutes, drug dealers, and even real estate agents. Aha! Just checking to make sure you're still awake. That was the most powerful paragraph. But just how far through it did you get before you realized I was joking? If you believe that summary of many slanderous lies which are frequently told about people who are born under this noble sign, don't feel too bad. Millions of people all over the world believe it, including a large number of Scorpios themselves. This probably explains the other great myth about Scorpios, the idea that they are secretive. Most Scorpios feel so ashamed of their sign that they refuse to confess their birth date in public. It's not surprising, but it is sad, because Scorpios truly have a lot to be proud of. There is, you see, a very big difference between the zodiac sign and the person born under that zodiac sign. Scorpio, the sign, actually does represent sex, penetration, reproduction, the elimination of bodily waste, death by natural causes, and pretty much everything that is unmentionable in a polite society. Scorpio, the person, however, does not. Just as Aries rules pimples, but not all Arians are spotty, and Pisceans rule feet, but that doesn't give them more than 10 toes. So what's the difference between the sign and the person? Well, what's the difference between the United States, the country, and the people of the United States? While you're chewing that over, let me ask you 2 more questions. First, have you ever seen a full horoscope based on someone's date of birth, the year, time, and place? If so, you'll know that all 12 signs of the zodiac are in everybody's chart. Astrology works on that principle. No matter what sign we are, we all have the potential to display Leo, pride, Cancerian, compassion, Gemini, wit, and so on. Secondly, why were you so excited when you read that little warning earlier? Go on, admit it. You thought you were going to read something spicy, racy, and rude, and you could hardly wait. Well, that's because no matter what sign you are, that warning struck a chord with the Scorpio side of your nature. So, what is it? What is the Scorpio factor? Is it really a lust for titillation? No. Think harder about what the warning implied. It did not mention perversion or even passion. All it contained, in fact, was a promise of honesty. If you found it exciting, it was only because I suggested I might tell you some raw truths about life, and these, in our polite society, are fascinatingly rare. So all of you Scorpios out there, I hope you found this information helpful, and I want to wish all of you a happy birthday. I hope you'll check out your birthday video. Have a wonderful day.